Blog Talk Radio.
Oh, it's time to get real. Oh, yeah. It's a new experience. Reality, spirituality. Yeah, keep your ears open for this one. Reality, spirituality. You got a question for RLN? Reality, spirituality. Yeah, it's time to get some answers, baby. Reality, spirituality. Oh, now we get real. Get down, reality, spirituality. Yeah, you gonna feel good now, real good. That's what I'm talking. Time to get real.
It's time to get some answers, baby. Don't you love that theme song? My son wrote that theme song, about 8 years ago for me, and I'm telling you, I just love it. I love it. I just love everything about it. I do. Welcome to Reality Spirituality. I'm your host, Rebecca Lynn Norrington. Thank you so much for being there. Thank you for listening. And thank you for your questions. I had a really, really good question this week, and I'm going to answer it live on the air. But before I do, I just want to share with everybody, maybe I have some new listeners, who the hell is Rebecca Norrington, happiness specialist? Well, how arrogant is she? What does that even mean? Does that mean she thinks she can be happy all the time? What? Is that possible? You know, let me say this. When I was younger, I wanted two things. I wanted to, number one, live to my potential, and I wanted to be happy. And this journey on finding happiness has taken me to where I'm standing right now. This has taken me to finding answers to so many questions, finding solutions, finding life strategies. This life, it is a strategy, people. It is a strategy that can be navigated through any situation, any challenge. And what do I mean by that? There was a few posts on social media, and people, write out, I'm blessed. You hear that a lot, I'm blessed. Well, I want to know if you say, I'm blessed, when you just find out that you have cancer. I want to know if you can still say, I'm blessed, when there's a death in the family. See, when I talk about happiness, I'm talking about an internal foundation, an internal peace, an internal place where I am rooted in trust, in knowing, in surrendering to everything, surrendering to the divine plan, to God's will, to universe's will. I say universe. Some people say God. Some people say source, higher power, energy, spirit. It's the same. To me, it's the same. So when your foundation is rooted in trusting, surrendering, knowing that everything is in order, and even just as important, knowing that whatever is happening to you, whatever it is, I don't care what it looks like, I don't care what it feels like, whatever is happening is for your betterment. Whatever that's happening serves you to get to another level of consciousness. So when you're rooted in letting go and allowing and accepting life, choosing your perspectives, choosing your focus, practicing behaviors that are going to add to your peace and eliminating behaviors that subtract, that's what I'm talking about. Listen, I'm not here saying that that shit doesn't happen to me. I struggle just like everybody else. But what I have learned to do, and when I say learned, I'm talking about over decades, over years, because people always ask me, well, how do you get to this place? It's taken years, and it's taken a commitment. It's a commitment to wanting peace, happiness, this vibration of satisfaction more than anything else in the world, more than anything else that I could even think of, more than my human wants of traveling and speaking all over the world, having my own TV show, having retreats or speaking at retreats. All of those things are man-made, ego-based wants and desires. And I'm here to tell you that I have given up. I've given up all of those. Trust me, I was hanging on for as long as I could. I was hanging on to it. But I've given all of it up because, you know, the title of today's show is When It's Time, It's Time. And what I've discovered is that this might not sit too well with a lot of you folks, but what I've discovered is I can't speed anything up. I can't slow anything down. I can't make anything happen, and I can't make anything not happen. Whatever I'm experiencing, whatever I experience, it's part of a bigger plan. It's part of a bigger plan that my little pea brain can't even conceive, can't even imagine the intricate detail of this plan. But I know for a fact, based on my history, based on evidence, that the things that happened to me that I wouldn't have chosen, hell no. I could list so many things that I did not want to experience and don't want to experience now. I mean, if you listen to the show, you know I'm a fitness instructor, and I'm telling you, I have a pulled muscle, and I've had it for, it's probably been at least 2 months, inner thigh, and it for whatever reason, it is not healing. I'm not complaining, but I sure am accepting all of it. I'm accepting it and say, okay, can I be happy? Can I be at peace when I'm limping? I'm laughing because there was a time where I couldn't laugh. I didn't find any peace if I wasn't physically feeling 100%. I can't even remember when that was, but trust me. What I want to share is, before I go on, if you have questions or if you want to find me, my website is RebeccaNorrington.com. My first book, Reality Spirituality, The Truth About Happiness, is on Amazon. You can email me at info@RebeccaNorrington.com. Follow me on Twitter at RLNorrington, Facebook, Reality Spirituality, and Instagram, Reality Spirituality. Whew. Okay, I got that out. Okay, listen. Listen, my dear audience, listen. My biggest foundation right now is David Hawkins. David Hawkins, Hawkins. And if you don't know who he is, or you haven't watched any of his videos or read any of his books, my suggestion is to research this guy. Look at the videos first on YouTube. They're short videos. Some of his lectures are longer, short meaning 5 minutes, 3 minutes, and he answers a lot of questions on YouTube. And it's just really is some deep truth. And one of his books is Force versus Power, and the other book, the Bible. When I say the Bible, one of my biggest foundations is The Eye of the Eye. The Eye of the Eye from Which Nothing is Hidden by David Hawkins. I just wanted to throw that out. And one of the videos that I watched a couple of weeks ago was causality. Causality. And it's short, maybe 5 minutes, 6 minutes. And according to him, he says that you want to get to another level of consciousness. When I say another level, what I mean is this. You've all heard stories about people that have experienced near death, this near-death experience, and they say they see a white light, and a lot of their stories are the same. They talk about just this feeling of love, of peace, it's an overwhelming feeling. They're describing heaven, what man would define as heaven, a place where it's all peaceful, you don't want to leave, it's beautiful, you feel the love, you feel all of it. You know what I'm talking about. You've heard these accounts. So when I say another level of consciousness, when these people tell these stories, they're at another level of consciousness, and I'm thinking that got to be, that's high, that's way up there. So when I say another level of consciousness, the higher the level of consciousness you are, I've never heard planes passing by in the forest. I wonder if that's a plane or a helicopter. Anywho, I digress. Always in the moment. When I say another level of consciousness, what I mean is there is another level of awareness that we all, when you are committed to this peace, this inner, this when you are committed, when you commit yourself, when you prioritize happiness, peace, you will get to higher levels of consciousness where things that used to matter don't matter anymore. You've heard about people that have had experiences in life, and and I mean they're life changing because of the effect. Say you survived a car crash, and you start looking at life differently. Not everybody, but some people look at life differently, and you don't sweat the small stuff. You know what I'm talking about, getting to another level. And when I say getting to another level, this causing, this is a big one. This is a big one. Put your seatbelts on this one. This thinking that you're causing or making something happen is all ego-based. I said it. I know. Well, how can that be? So, if I'm working at something and goal and I'm making it happen, aren't I doing something? Well, listen. When I lived in California, I mean, it's been about 20 years, and I wanted to work at the Arcadia Recreation Department. I wanted to work as a fitness instructor so bad that when I moved to Arcadia back in 1983, that's right, 1983, I applied for that position. Work as a fitness instructor. It was really well paid. It was a community center where fitness instructors could teach varieties of classes. I put in so many applications over probably 10 years. Talked to the people accepting the application, and nothing ever happened. It was one of those you had to know somebody to get in. At least that's what I'm thinking. Finally, 20 years later, or I don't know, 30 years later, I'm teaching a fitness class, a water class, in a different city. And the coordinator, the person that hires the instructors for Arcadia Recreation Department, was in my class. So we connected that way, and then zip, I'm hired. Now, it took me 25 years to get the position. But what I'm saying is, and I'm trying to deliver this message as gently as possible. Something isn't happening. It's just not time for it to happen. You're not doing anything wrong. It's not that you're not working hard enough. It's just not time. And when I was sharing this with someone, and I got a question, what does that mean? How do I realize that No, how can I use, this is the exact question, how can I use this knowledge for more peace? Because what I talk about and what I teach, happiness, peace, contentment, balance, relaxation, just feeling a vibration of satisfaction, meaning, listen, the struggle is always internal. All the suffering comes from thinking that something needs to be different than what is actually happening. The truth is the vibration of satisfaction, it's not taught or practiced in today's world. But I can guarantee that if you're not satisfied in the present moment, you will not be satisfied in any future moment. The ego is never satisfied. So this question is, how do I use this knowledge of I'm not causing anything to happen, I'm not making anything to happen? Is that even true? How can I use that? How can I use that for more peace? And this is what I answered. My perspective is this about this: I'm not causing anything. There's nothing making anything happen. My perspective is accepting that I'm not causing anything and I am just allowing actions, events, experiences to unfold when it's time. It just makes me feel more relaxed. I just feel more relaxed on this journey. When I'm relaxed, I'm more peaceful. It's a letting go of control, of thinking I'm making something or not making something happen. How did, I live in the middle of the forest. How did the trees surrounding this house get here? Nobody planted these trees in the forest. They were here, they're just here because of a natural progression of a forest. So when I say this, look to nature. The animals that are here are due to natural evolution. No person created them. Nobody made them. They weren't created, just natural evolution. Speaking about that, my next trip, I want to go to the Galapagos Islands next year. Anyway, I digress. Nobody created electricity. Electricity has always been available, even to the caveman. It's just that man discovered, not created, a way to harness electricity. So when it was time, through inspiration, the discovery of electricity. Let's talk about planes, air travel. Man has always had the ability to fly in a plane, but it wasn't time for that technology to be discovered until man evolved enough to build a plane. So what I say is following your inspiration in every moment means following the natural progression of expansion, of evolution, of discovery, of life, using your intuition as a daily guide, as a daily GPS. The ego wants you to believe that that I'm doing something. The ego wants you to believe it's making something happen. And I'm here to tell you the only thing that is going to quiet, I'm not hating on the ego, but just to quiet that voice and to lessen its grip and its power, is to humble it. Sorry, ego, but you are not making anything happen. What I am doing is accepting all of it, all of life's experiences as an experience, and I'm going to do my best to enjoy it all, even the experiences that, thanks for nothing, universe. And let me tell you my challenges, because I'm not running around here thinking that, I'm not running around here saying that, I'm just peaceful all the freaking time. No, I have and one of my biggest challenges is to accept the programming of the majority of people. To go out into the world and accept the programming. Let me be specific. So I'm at a chiropractor's appointment on Friday. And the programming, my second book is called Program for Unhappiness. I'm currently writing it, and I'm writing it when I'm inspired. So when I say continuation, when there's going to be an end date, when it's going to be out, it'll be out as soon as it's finished. It'll be out as soon as it's finished. You don't know how that would put so much stress on me, or there's so much stress that you haven't finished it. Oh gosh, you haven't written today, and then to pile on to feel bad about myself for not writing every single day for a certain amount of hours. No, got rid of that too. I'm not feeling bad about anything anymore. I just can't. I felt bad about myself. I criticized myself for decades. Over. It's over. No criticizing Rebecca Norrington anymore, ever, for anything that I'm doing or that I'm not doing. Again, so let's get back to, stress. This thing called stress, it's an illusion. It's a man-made concept. There is no such thing as stress. Now, I know I was taught that A, B, C, D causes stress, but I'm here to tell you that stress there's no such thing. I can't blame stress. I can't blame something that is an illusion. I can't blame stress, which is an illusion, on how I'm feeling. Now, you can if you want. I can't. Back to what bothers me. It's a program to believe that certain things cause stress, of course. And there is a physical reaction to the body reacts in a state. But a cause, there's no cause. There's no other than what you were taught, other than what you learned. My biggest thing is accepting this program, accepting that people believe that there's stress, accepting the robotic programming of the majority of the population. Back to the story. I'm at the chiropractor's office, and he asked me this question on a Friday. Any plans for your weekend? Now, that's a really simple, easy question to ask, but people, and I'm working on it. I gotta say I'm working on it. Accepting the fact that people just are robots and ask the same questions all the time. On Monday, it's, how was your weekend? Did you have a good weekend? Hi, how are you? All of those automatic programming responses, words, greetings, drives me up the wall. Now, when I say drives me up the wall, I'm doing a wink, 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 because it doesn't drive me up the wall all the time. It only drives me up the wall when there is some kind of internal struggle going on within, when there is some kind of internal struggle of me not accepting. Because if I was in true acceptance mode, which I practice all the time. I'm not saying, listen, just because I practice doesn't mean that I got it all mastered and perfect. But I know that when a question like that, any plans for the weekend, coming from a robot, I know when I describe people like that, when I don't accept, I know it's all me. It's not the question. It's me. And that is the continuing practice, the continuing struggle, the continuing level of consciousness. Now, let me say something. What I do know is that question, those questions, those program questions, are not going to bother me or have an effect on me forever. There is going to be a time when I practice so much of acceptance, practice so much of accepting, that is not even going to be an issue. I'm going to look back and laugh and say, oh, I remember that when that used to bother me. And so, see, that is what this life is about, growing, expanding, and evolving. One of the people that I know texted me a couple of days ago, and they said, I remember, because this person is really interesting. They're grandfathered into my life. Let me just say that. Grandfathered in, meaning that when I was 12, 13 years old, we were friends. So there's a grandfathering in of people that I just can't seem to eliminate. I can't eliminate. The universe hasn't eliminated them. I mean, if people are in my life, they're supposed to be. So this person is grandfathered in. And the text was this. I remember you said that you felt sorry for my family. I would say, yeah, I feel sorry for your family because they have to deal with them. Now, 4 years ago, that was true. I did feel sorry for their family. I did feel sorry for the husband, for the wife, for the daughters, and for the sons. I felt sorry because they had to deal with a difficult personality. But 4 years later, I'm not the same person. So when I got that text, as I know you feel sorry for my family, it didn't fit anymore. It didn't fit anymore. Because now I know that if there is a family and I look out and I see they're supposed to be together because their journeys are intertwined. All four of them, all five of them, all six of them, all the immediate family members are experiencing exactly what they need to experience with each other. So I don't feel sorry for them anymore. I actually applaud. They're in the perfect spot. They're in a perfect place. And that goes for anyone that is close to me that I say, oh, gee, or used to say, why are they with them, or what's the attraction, and don't you know you can do better, and they're not serving you, and no. If people are together, if people have a relationship, that relationship is a divine relationship regardless of what it looks like. There is a bigger plan that I would even comprehend or even know. So I don't feel sorry anymore for that family. And 4 years ago, yes. But see, this is another thing I want to say. When you commit to looking in the mirror and for finding your answers and really looking in the mirror, meaning liking what you see, liking you, accepting your life, accepting it all, when you get to a point where you accept it all, there are no mistakes, regardless of what relationship anyone is in. There is a reason for everything, even the things that I don't understand or I wouldn't have designed it that way. I wouldn't design a world, listen, I'm sorry, I wouldn't design a world where children were harmed and children were molested or women were raped. I wouldn't design that. I wouldn't. But for some reason, a bigger reason that I would even imagine, there is purpose in it all. Now, I'm doing that because of trust. I'm saying it because of trust. Because I wouldn't design the world like that at all. But I do trust. I do trust that for everything that happens, there is a purpose and there is a reason. whether my little pea brain or ego, man-made human brain can understand it. Oof. You know, I was looking at a documentary about the Rolling Stones yesterday. And I know this is way off track. But there was a time where Mick Jagger and Keith Richards were sentenced to jail for doing drugs. Keith Richards was sentenced for a 1-year prison term because he told the judge that I'm not accepting your morality, and the judge put him in prison but sentenced him for 1 year of prison. Now, this was what, 40 years ago, 30 years ago? I don't know when the Rolling Stones happened. But when I talk about the evolution of the human, mankind, it's huge, it's big. And so when I say I don't have any concept, I know maybe 1% of 10% of what the universe knows and what the universe plans. I mean, I have such a small speck of knowledge, of understanding. 1% of 10%, which is hardly anything. I just trust that everything is unfolding the way it's supposed to, including mankind and its evolution. Because as modern as it seems that this world is, consciously, we're not there. We might as well be. When I say caveman, I'm talking about a consciousness, the conscious level. But the conscious level of this planet, the conscious level of the world is growing. And it's the conscious level of each individual. When your consciousness rises, gets higher, then that's what you're doing. That's what you're contributing to the world. Woo-wee. All right. When it's time, it's time. You can't speed it up. You can't slow it down. You can't make something happen, and you can't not make something happen. Life is going to happen when it's time to evolve. Things are going to happen, fall into place when it's time. You can't, listen, you tell a baby, hey, start walking at 3 months. It just doesn't happen. For me, that's just another vibration to practice of trusting and allowing life to evolve. Not on my timetable, but on the timetable of the universe. Reality Spirituality is heard every Sunday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. My website is RebeccaNorrington.com. That's RebeccANorrington.com. Follow me on Twitter at RLNorrington. My Instagram handle is Reality Spirituality. YouTube channel, yes. Go to YouTube and search Rebecca Norrington. My book, Reality Spirituality, The Truth About Happiness, can be purchased on Amazon. My second book, Program for Unhappiness, will be out sometime one of these days. Until next time, my dear audience, I want you to remember who you are. You're a physical extension of the universe. You're always evolving. You're always changing. You're always growing. Love is patient and love is kind. Be patient and be kind to yourself. Be your own best friend. Remember, you cannot have a happy ending to an unhappy journey. You're listening to Reality Spirituality. Have a great week. Well, is that a program statement? Have a great week. How about this? I'm going to change that. Have a conscious week. How's that? Have a conscious week. That's it. You know what? I'm going to write that down. Not have a great week. Have a conscious week. All right. I'm out of here.
Oh, it's time to get real. Oh, yeah. It's a new experience. question for RLN?
Spirituality.
Yeah, it's time to get some answers, baby.
Spirituality.
Oh, now we get real.
Spirituality.
Yeah, it's time to get down. Yeah, you gonna feel good now. Real good.
Spirituality.
That's what I'm talking about.
Time to get real.